Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Cover to Cover. You're here with Mo,
Andrea,
and Morgan.
Today we want to talk about ex-artist books, bookstores that look like a work of art, e-readers versus books, and a fun short video that we put together for you. Important people who prefer books to flowers as gifts, which should be everyone, and more. Plus we have Tiffany with a What's on My Nightstand for this week. And first, we're going to talk to you about paying homage to some of our favorite comic relief characters in literature.
Comic relief is a welcomed literary device used to introduce comical moments into an otherwise serious scene. It helps relieve tension and puts a smile on your face. The characters that provide this service are often secondary or background characters. And we think that it's time to pay them service today for all that they've done for us. And we want to honor some of literature's greatest comic relief characters.
Yes, we do. I would personally like to honor the comic duo of Fred and George Weasley. You know, whether they were there to make fun of their siblings, confuse their parents over their identity, no, I'm Fred, honestly, mother, or to set off fireworks in the dining hall, Fred and George Weasley were there for us throughout all 7 Harry Potter novels. They were cracking jokes and reminding us how important it is to have a sense of humor, even in the face of life's greatest challenges.
And I would like to honor Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. I love characters who are complete opposite and different from each other. I love the way they play off of each other So I love how one is very eccentric and one is normal, I would say, conventional, conservative, and they just make me laugh.
Well, awesome. Well, I would like to give a shout out to Mrs. Bennett and Mr. Collins. Mr. Collins is over there doing his thing, trying to raise his status, while also trying to save a girl from destitution, all while achieving a level of extra that only Mrs. Bennett understands. So Mrs. Bennett, I think she's the real MVP, and some may even say the hero of Pride and Prejudice. LitHub made a great case for the character with no first name in a recent piece by Rachel Dunphy. And some may even say that I have some traits of the fine Mrs. Bennett myself. So I'm always trying to hook up my friends and fix up my handsome, successful brother. So if you know anyone.
So that's a really great solicitation, and that's very Mrs. Bennett of you. I love thinking about comic relief characters, and there are so many great ones. Those were really fantastic ones. But I think there's even more. So if anybody has any great suggestions in the comments, I know Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones is a really big comic relief character. So tell us more so we can research about those people and add them to some of our reading lists. But speaking of people who have made us laugh or cry, or everywhere in between, you guys know Keanu Reeves? He's a pretty well-known actor.
Yeah, we know Keanu Reeves. So Keanu Reeves, along with Alexandra Grant and Jessica Fleshman, has launched a new independent book publisher called ex-Artist Books. The company has launched its first 2 titles, High Winds and The Artist's Prison, and has many more launches on the horizon. The company is being billed as the publisher for artists, and the books will have accompanying illustrations and help flesh out an author's vision through multiple media. When asked why they were launching the company, Reeves said it's for the pleasure of reading and thinking and imagining, and to go on a journey. They also noted a desire to elevate the content that is available to be consumed.
So I think this book sounds really neat. Did you guys have a chance to check out any of the pictures of the book inserts?
No, so what are they like? Tell us about them.
So it's really cool because it is essentially taking an artist's vision and funneling that into a final bound project. And so it is a story. There is like this narrative, but also, you know, you get a couple pages of a story and then you'll turn and there will be these accompanying illustrations, but not like a graphic novel. A lot of them are kind of surreal or like really colorful color blocks, like linear sort of things. And then there's sometimes like pullouts and like pop-up books and all kinds of like mediums.
And that's why they're so expensive.
Yes,
they are not very expensive books.
Does it follow along with the text, or is it like text, jump to pictures, jump back to text?
I think it'll probably be a little bit of both because I know they're going to work with the authors really carefully to get the visual of it because so much of the book is visual that I think the authors will have a lot of opinions about that.
Cool.
Yeah. So I wonder, not to start a discussion on this, but Keanu Reeves is making this move because he's not the best actor in the world. Hate to say it.
Maybe he's an artist at heart, and this is the way
Maybe.
he can help others. That's like the PC way to
Did
phrase
y'all see
that.
John Wick?
Yeah.
Those are good movies. I
Yeah.
thought he did a great job.
We love puppies, so. Yeah. Well, if that doesn't blow your mind too much that Keanu Reeves is trying to run the publishing industry, maybe this amazing bookstore will.
In eastern China, there's a chain of bookstores and libraries that commit to their aesthetic appeal. The store, which roughly translates to Bell Book Loft, wants you to imagine an infinite number of books as far as the eye can see, which it accomplishes with some optical illusions and amazing architecture.
The architects who executed this beautiful bookstore are Shanghai-based studio XL Muse Architects. And it is so cool. I hope someday to go visit this bookstore. So what do you guys think?
It is so cool. And looking through the images of it, it reminds me of MC Escher, where it just looks like this tunnel of stuff that you're walking into. Very like Alice in Wonderland like.
Yeah, because the floors, I'm sure you just saw the pictures, but are black mirrors. So yeah, it looks like a tunnel. Very cool.
But then wouldn't it be kind of a letdown that there aren't that many books?
You try to pick it up off the ground and you just like keep failing.
But they even have a space for kids that looks really cool. I just imagine it being a fun place where kids actually want to go and want to read. So
also I could see it very quickly turning into like a haunted house because
escape room.
It's so beautiful, but also it's like kind of creepy. Yeah, so if it was just like
it's very dark.
Lining.
There's no windows from the pictures I saw.
Just mirrors.
Yeah.
Just mirrors.
So tell us, what are some of your favorite bookstores that you've gone to? Do y'all have any that you know of, you can think of?
I can't think of any like really incredible aesthetically pleasing bookstores I've been to. Most of my favorites are sort of just like local joints, but I'd love to know if there were some cool ones I could go to.
Oh, there's one that I want to, and I've showed you guys pictures of it. There's this beautiful library in Austria, and it just looks like this like castle inside, and it's just books as far, like literally as far as the eye can see.
Yeah.
That is gorgeous. So that is on my bucket list.
Yeah.
I believe I remember seeing a library in the Biltmore House. It's the largest, North Carolina, in Nashville, North Carolina. Yeah, it's the largest privately owned home in the United States, and it's amazing. And I believe there was a library in there. And
nice.
It's very impressive.
Yeah, very cool.
Well, again, let us know, because we love to travel and plan our traveling around books and authors and stories. So let us know in the comments if you've been to a really great bookstore that we can visit. And as we're talking about that, there are some things, though, that we don't always agree with on the show, and we know that you don't always agree with as well. So today we have a fun video short for you illustrating some of the differences that we feel, and we know that you will agree. So let's take a look.
Hey. Can you millennials just stay off an electronic device for like 5 minutes?
Are you serious right now? I'm doing exactly what you're doing. I'm reading. It's an ebook.
Are you serious?
Yes,
Hey, can I get you guys anything?
No.
That's just so your generation. I thought you were a lot cooler than that.
Are you serious? I can hold tons of books on here.
And you can only read one at a time.
Okay, you know what? I can hold the entire series of Unfortunate Events. The books that you're reading right now, I can hold them all on here. I have them all on here right now. Oh, really? Okay, really? Oh, wow. Look, oh, you really carry that around with you? Really?
Yep.
Okay, you know what? Stop. Okay, you know what? While you're reading those, if you don't know a word on there, you can't look it up on there, but guess what? On a tablet, you can. You can look it up right on the tablet.
But you can't put a bookmark in it.
Yes, I can.
And you can't write fun notes on the side.
Yes, I can.
And you can't let all your friends borrow your books.
What, you like letting friends borrow your books? I don't think so.
You're right. I never get my books back when my friends borrow them.
Yeah, exactly. So you know what? Go back to your antique and let me read my electronic device that nobody has to borrow, okay?
Whatever. Everything okay?
It died.
So before we dive into this problem or this conversation, this disagreement on e-readers versus books, first I want to say a very happy birthday to Patricia Rizzo. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! Cheers!
Yeah, thank you so much for watching. We heard that you have some great book recommendations for us. Bartskin, is that what we were told she's been reading?
Yeah, and she likes classics like A Tale of Two Cities and some other stuff. So let us know some other great books we should be reading.
Yeah, we'd love to hear.
Yeah, and whether or not you love e-readers or old school books, we're all into books and preserving and perpetuating them throughout time. And right now there's a cool story trending about a group of men from Lithuania who went to very great lengths to preserve literature.
In the 1800s, Lithuania was suffering under the thumb of Russia. Through a series of power struggles, uprisings, and rebellions, the Lithuanian culture was being forced out of the country, so much to the extent that the Lithuanian language was at risk of extinction. A ban was put in place on texts in Lithuanian, and the Russian language was being forced on the people who lived there. So a group of people band together to ensure their country's texts were saved from destruction.
What authors would do is they would have their books published in Lithuania through other countries, and then smugglers would bring them in across the border in secret and illegally disseminate the text.
So these smugglers went to great lengths. It's incredible the kind of effort that they put into it just to help others read books in their native language and to perpetuate that.
That's crazy. I mean, you saw how many books Tiffany was carrying, and those were heavy. Yeah. So can you imagine?
There was like a really cool picture that we showed where one of the smugglers, they just had these giant knapsacks, and they would literally have to dodge like the Russian police like left and right to just bring these books into people.
That's crazy. I just think it's insane how, people lose their identities this way because of other countries taking over, and it's just sad.
But do you guys know that there are places in the world that don't have their language written down? I know people who do this. Like they learn a language and they translate it and they put it into writing so people can actually have books written in their own language. So that just blows my mind.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And smuggling can be a tough job. It was really dangerous for these people to do it.
Yeah.
And smuggling is a really well-known profession throughout a lot of fandoms. You guys might know a famous smuggler, Han Solo from Star Wars. So these guys are just as cool as Han Solo. That's all I'm saying.
I'm glad you didn't go with like drug smugglers. I was like, which direction is
That's
this
a little bit different.
Or people.
Yeah. But speaking of preserving texts, today's readers and artists do seem to go to really interesting lengths to share and preserve books like these smugglers, and some are even adapting books that we love into video games, with some really unusual choices being made.
Video game designer Tracy Fullerton is the director of the Game Innovation Lab at the University of Southern California School of Cinematic Arts. She has turned Henry David Thoreau's 1854 book Walden into a video game. Unlike other games where you rack up points, you are trying to power up on inspiration. You can fish in Walden Pool, farm beans, build buildings, and enjoy the world of Walden. July 12th was the 200th anniversary of Henry David Thoreau's birth, and now there's one more way to celebrate his life and follow in his footsteps. Walden, the game, has finally come to fruition after a labor of love of over 10 years.
Wow. It's a long time to spend trying to bring this thing to life. Morgan has feelings.
I just don't see how this is going to sell. I don't know what the purpose of it. Are they putting this out to market?
That's a good question. I wonder if she's hoping to make money on it or if it's like just her favorite book and it's just something she did for a passion project.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 years, that's a big endeavor.
I wonder what took so long.
So what do you guys think? Are you looking to buy this? Or
To
you
buy
want
Walden?
Morgan's?
You want to go fishing at Walden Pond?
But I'm sure people have other. Oh gosh, I just remember one of the first. I had a Game Boy, and I played the Addams Family.
Oh, okay.
So that was one of my favorite games, and that was before I actually became an Addams myself. So
Yeah. Aw, you are the Addams Family. I love that.
we just spell it differently. Well, we're not sure what we think about this. I guess we just need to play it, right?
Yeah, maybe we should try to play it.
So maybe she could come on the air and we can play this game. But I don't know, guys. Let us know of any other books that you think would be made into great video games.
Yeah.
And then maybe we can develop it and sell it together.
Yeah.
But we might have some other ideas because Tiffany's going to share with us what she's been reading. So, Tiffany, let us know what is on your nightstand.
Hey guys, good morning. I'm so excited because this morning we are talking about Louise Erdrich and her latest book, La Rose. Louise is one of my favorite authors of all times. I read her first book, Love Medicine, in college, where I got to do a deep dive into a character study, and I just fell in love with her, and I've read all of her books. So, Louise, she writes about Native American culture in the foothills of North Dakota. And she writes about burden, she writes about power, she writes about heritage and ancestry, and it spans hundreds of years. So all of her books are super intriguing. La Rose, her last book was The Roundhouse, and where that might have been more of a book about revenge, La Rose is more a book about forgiveness. There's a hunting accident, and the book begs the question, can a person do the worst thing possible and still be loved? So I want you to read the book to find out. Louise Erdrich, one of my favorite authors of all times, and you can get this awesome book for just 99 cents in the flash sale. I hope you'll love it.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. We will be sure to check out La Rose. And Tiffany told me that she loves Louise Erdrich, and she wants everyone to read her, so I'm definitely going to be adding that to my list. But if you don't get enough recommendations to fill your TBR list for eternity, Stanford has a great reading program for incoming students with suggestions for all of us to read.
3 Books is a reading list that Stanford issues every year for its incoming students for fall semester. Every year, the list follows a theme, and this summer's theme is sustainability and equity. The books selected are Homegoing by Yar Jesse, The Sixth Extinction, An Unnatural History by Elizabeth Colbert, and Jesmyn Ward's The Salvage the Bones. At the conclusion of the program, students are invited to book discussions and roundtables with the authors. Seems like a pretty cool program. What do you guys think?
I love that they get to discuss with the authors.
Yeah. How crazy is that?
That part is really, really cool. I know lots of schools, high school, middle school, colleges do these kinds of programs, but the fact that they can bring in the authors is really
That's
cool.
part of the prestige of Stanford is that
Yeah.
they have those connections and the authors are so willing to jump at that. Yeah, I think it's really cool too because everyone gets summer reading, but like what an experience to actually ask the questions you have about it to the expert. So that's pretty neat. And one really easy way to recommend books to someone, if you guys are wanting to do that, is to buy the book as a gift. And who doesn't love getting books as gifts? Everyone should. Well, the Prime Minister of India has made it clear that he would prefer books over flowers as a gift any day.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is gearing up for a tour of India. He is typically gifted bouquets of flowers as gifts from the cities he visits, but he is urging his people to put down the petals and pick up books instead. Modi has stated his wishes before. Earlier this year, he commented that the lifespan of a bouquet is very short. You receive it in your hand for a moment and then abandon it. But when you present a book, it becomes a part of the household, a part of the family.
I love that quote. I think that's so sweet.
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
Yeah, and it's so true because if you give Tim a book, it's not just going to be for him. Like maybe he lets his friends borrow it or his wife reads it or his kids.
Or maybe he'll create a library.
Yeah.
Because just imagine if people really take him up on this, people who can afford books, we must say that first, are probably going to do it.
Yeah.
When I've been to India about 3 times, different parts, and really people do, when you're visiting or when there's a guest of honor, they'll just put flowers and flowers and flowers, leis, you know, and I think I've seen pictures of them just covered in flowers and people throw flowers at them, and I hope they don't throw books.
That would change.
No pressure, like picking out the perfect book to give the Prime Minister.
True. Like you have in your hand like 50 Shades of Grey and then like A Tale of Two Cities and you're like, I don't know. Got to make the right choice, that's for sure.
But it would be great if he turns all these books into some free public library.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So let's talk to Mr. Modi. Since you've been to India, we should be able to get to him, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well, let us know in the comments what you think. If you think books are the best gifts that you can give, and let us know some great books that you have given and that you have received. And as always, share this post, send us a message, and we will send you a t-shirt. We have both crew neck and V-neck options. And so make sure when you send us a message, tell us your name, your address, your size, and if you want crew or V-neck, and we'll get that right out to you.
So yes, as always, free t-shirts and 99-cent flash sales.
Yep.
So for 19 minutes after this episode, don't forget to grab your copy of La Rose that Tiffany told you about. So grab your copy for 99 cents. Do it.
And thank you guys so much for joining us today. We hope that you have a great week ahead of you. I'm Mo.
I'm Andrea.
And I'm Morgan.
And we will be back on Wednesday at 12 p.m., 11 a.m. Central Time. So until then, keep reading, writing, and being awesome. I know we will. Bye.
Bye.